Hi there, Moses McCall, software engineer and one of the leads for the Denver Indie Hacker Meetup. Welcome to my presentation as part of Denver Startup Week for the product track. How to bootstrap a software product and earn passive income. To create any product, specifically software products, is a challenge. And what I'm hoping is that after this presentation, it provides you with a framework to help you reduce risk while increase your chances of success and create that software product that generates that passive income. So first of all, we're going to just start with a target. We can imagine that the product generates $10,000 a month, has 200 customers, and each paying $50 a month. And within this product, we have 3 tiers of users: individuals, businesses, and agencies. So when thinking about the product, you want to think about what kind of tiers the customer needs. And so I've taken this table from Rob Walling, who is one of the thought leaders in Bootstrap software products. And on the left, you have entertainment, complex new, vitamin, aspirin. And as the columns, you have sold on value, the need is obvious, and they're actively looking at it. So an example of an entertainment product is like a game. So a game obviously is not sold on value, the need is not obviously obvious, and they're not actively looking for it. The other one is complex new. That could be an enterprise product that is, maybe requires some type of installation that you have to do. It may require like heavy manuals. It's not the easiest product to operate, just kind of pick up. A vitamin product is kind of a product like, for example, Hootsuite, where it's designed just to schedule social media posts. I mean, there is a value there. The need's obvious, but customers are not always looking for it. And the final product is a product that specifically solves a pain point. So a good example of that is like the common invoice tool. And so an invoice tool is sold and the value is provided because, and the need is obvious. You have to have generate invoices for a small business, and customers are actively looking for it. So why do people purchase software? And so there are a couple pain points to identify. So data entry, data generally nobody wants to enter in data, but people like to aggregate and visualize it. Repetitive recurring tasks that may be time sensitive. That's why scheduling tools are very popular. Payment friction between different software platforms. So a good example of that is like Shopify connected to Instagram. So you have people who are Instagram that are viewing these photos of, for example, clothing, and people on Shopify are basically selling it. And you could have an app that connects those two things. So it's reducing payment friction between those two products. Software, there are many software tools out there that are badly designed, but people use them because there's no alternative. And so that's an opportunity there. The pain point is that they're very difficult to use and they're outdated. And so that's an opportunity there for a new product to come about. So here are some motivations that people buy products. Sometimes, the biggest motivation is that it helps businesses make more money, or that it helps them save money or save time. If you can prove your product helps a business make more money, then it's definitely a great incentive for a customer to buy. Now here is some specific points that is kind of the sweet spot for a Bootstrap software product. It's 5 times more than a normal customer will be willing to pay. A good example of that, and I know this is not a Bootstrap product, but this is an example, is like Squarespace. So with Squarespace, a customer could basically hire a programmer or somebody to basically make a website for them, or they can DIY, do it themselves by just basically paying a small hosting fee and just using Squarespace to build a website for them, and without any coding. Competition is not always bad. And so in this case, if you have competition in industry, and especially in a big industry, you can always niche down. And so there are lots of CRMs, lots of invoicing tools. And so, it could be an invoicing tool for dentists, or a CRM tool for dentists. And that's another thing. So thinking about the channel. So, throughout your career, you probably have connections to people who work in, related industries. And so you want to do is think about a software tool that solves that individual problem within that industry. So thinking about the general customer identity, you want to think about that's a good customer. Is a customer that's a business in particular, not a consumer. Consumer kind of businesses are very hard as a customer. Online businesses are easier because you're basically solving a need. And specifically businesses that have an online presence and they're in a growing market. So kind of an ideal case are like e-commerce businesses. They may need a plugin for the e-commerce platform. You could build something and sell that at a recurring revenue. Online publishing, automating some data tasks that they have to do, like insert data, or publishing, scheduled. So here are some good examples of markets that work for Bootstrap SaaS companies. A natural recurring business. So for example, like a business that needs to do payroll. They have to do payroll maybe once every 2 weeks, and having a software product that handles payroll specifically for a niche market is, good. Or something that could be finished. And so an example of that is like WinZip. It could be quick beginning end. So a really good market is aftermarket for existing businesses. So thinking about like Shopify apps. So I've heard of Shopify apps making 25K a month, and the advantage of that, specifically with Shopify apps, is that you don't need to market on Google. People are already looking for specific plugins for their Shopify store to basically increase their revenue or more engaged customers. Bad markets are having to catch people at a specific time. So an interesting product is like that helps people plan their wedding. A wedding only happens once, and that's it. And so you're going to have that customer once, but then that's the end. You have to constantly search for new customers. Viral markets. Viral markets are difficult because we're talking about Bootstrap products, and it takes time for that to grow. And so thinking about having a product that's going to grow virally is just very difficult. Creating a marketplace app. Within marketplace app, you have buyers and sellers. So in that case, you're going to have two customers. You have to fulfill the needs of the buyers. You have to fulfill the needs of the customers. And it's better to have one clear-cut customer as opposed to two. So one thing to think about when you're building this product, do you like the industry you're working with? Are you willing to struggle through the grind? And so, there are going to be times at the beginning that you're going to be really excited about it. And there are going to be times, near the middle that you're not. And so during those times in the middle that you're not, if you really enjoy, working with those people, working with your customers, it's going to help you sustain yourself through that point of struggle, that grind. And so it's just really important to consider that. So in terms of finding software product ideas, a couple places you can look is, number one, scratching your own niche. Perhaps you're using a software product that's just not that good and you could make something better. The other thing is, seeking someone in the industry who has expertise. So a good example is if you have an accountant who basically does something that's kind of repetitive, and, you can work with that accountant to make a product that solves that problem. Other places looking at Inc. Magazine. Inc. Magazine lists every year the top 5,000 growing businesses. There could be problems. So for example, there are a lot of businesses listed to solar installers. Maybe they need a CRM, to manage, their customers. And that goes to the niche version of an existing SaaS product. One key place is automating manual tasks. And so, like I said, data drudgery, data entry. Perhaps there's a company that deals with a lot of PDFs, and you could basically automate extracting data from the PDF and inserting that data into their database. That's the product that, they can just kind of leave running, and it basically reduces their labor and increases the amount of time available to focus on other things. So one key point is to validate product ideas. So the first way is that you should think about not just one product, but you should continually think about, new products. And as you think about these new products, you want to play devil's advocate. Why would this not work? And so you want to poke holes at it, and you want to be, and so, the key point is that you don't want to just kind of build a product and then nobody would come. You want to basically have a product that already kind of validated. And so another way is to visit Facebook groups or any online community where you think those customers are, and see that whether they would want to purchase something like that. Maybe you can get their email addresses, and so maybe you get 50 of them, and once you actually have the product complete, maybe they'll be your first trial customers to use your product. Here's a diagram that I thought is just really useful in terms of thinking about different levels of software product, and starting with something simple and building another product that's a little more complicated. And so you're kind of climbing this ladder. And who knows, like after a certain point where you generate some passive revenue, you may want to pursue that kind of venture capital product. But now you want to start with something that gives you kind of a baseline. And so starting out with software product, you could start small. You can build like an app that's like an add-on for like WordPress, an add-on for like Shopify, or any other smaller third-party marketplace. Once you kind of have these little apps that generate this little passive income and you feel comfortable with that, perhaps you find an idea for like a SaaS platform, that's kind of run independently, and you can kind of continue to kind of build these little products that aggregately they can generate more money than just one, obviously. So here are a couple references that I found pretty useful with regard to just the Bootstrap product. And so one of them is Indie Hackers. Indie Hackers is a community of individuals that are kind of focused on building Bootstrap software products. And so there's a lot of information there that's useful, and a lot of people that are there to support you. MicroConf is a conference for Bootstrap software developers, as well as if you visit their website, they have some really good videos and tutorials in terms of helping you kind of think about what kind of strategy you can use with regard to building a Bootstrap product. And finally, the book Start Small, Stay Small by Rob Walling. The book is a little dated, but it still has some timeless information. And I think it's a very good read in terms of just kind of understanding like what kind of good methods you can use to market your product, and just thinking about next steps in terms of just sales strategy and things like that. Just want to thank you, and if you have any questions, just reach out to me, and thank you.